what to expect from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was not only one of the best Spider-Man projects to date, it was also a massive success, with countless awards racking up, including a Golden Globe win and its recent Oscar nomination. Yeah, boy! The Spider-Verse seems to have a bright future at Sony. Today's investigation will break down just what we can expect to see from the upcoming sequel. First up, let's get what we know for sure about the Into the Spider-Verse sequel out of the way. According to a Vanity Fair article featuring producers Amy Pascal, Phil Lord, and Chris Miller, a Spider-Verse sequel is in development. We know that much for sure. The project is being written by David Callahan, who also co-wrote the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984. Very excited about that. The project is slated to be directed by animation veteran Joaquim Dos Santos, who has done amazing work on series like Avatar: The Last Airbender and Justice League Unlimited. Very good shows. Along with this promising creative team, the film is apparently going to focus on Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy's budding romance, which was only hinted at in the first film. Into the Spider-Verse set up a few lingering story threads that they will likely follow up in the upcoming story. The very last shot of the film, before the credits roll, implies a multiversal portal opening above Miles' bed, and we subsequently hear Gwen Stacy calling out to Miles. This lines up with what we've been told about the sequel's focus on Miles and Gwen's romance. Miles and Gwen's romance does have precedent in the comics, even though they're from different universes. Though aspects of the arc were borrowed for Into the Spider-Verse, Miles and Gwen have a multi-dimensional team-up in a run called Sitting in a Tree, very cute, that spanned between Miles and Gwen's respective comic series. The 6-issue arc saw Gwen help Miles attempt to track down his father through various dimensions. In Gwen's dimension, Earth 65, which is named 65 because that's the year that Gwen Stacy first appeared in comic books, 1965, we meet a version of Jeff Davis who runs a crime ring and works under the name The Scorpion. If the upcoming sequel wanted to borrow elements from this story, Miles meeting alternate versions of his own family could test him in new and interesting ways. Oh, that would be really cool, especially if he met his uncle, Aaron. Ooh, that'd be good. In this book, Gwen also stumbles across Earth 8, a dimension in which Miles and Gwen have been happily married for 20 years. They even have a couple of spider kids. Look at these cuties. I want a spider kid. I want one. I'm gonna be bummed if I ever have a kid who's not gonna have spider powers. What a ripoff. Boring old human child. In the end of the run, Miles and Gwen share a kiss, but ultimately decide they don't want multidimensional fate to decide their attraction for one another, and decide to remain friends until they can figure out how they feel about each other. If Into the Spider-Verse 2 wanted to borrow from this run, Miles and Gwen seeing an alternate married version of themselves would definitely create an interesting dynamic in their relationship. Additionally, the post-credit scene shows Spider-Man 2099 go back in time in an attempt to recruit the 1960s Spider-Man for some unknown purpose. While the nod to the 60s Spidey cartoon and its subsequent meme infamy may have come across as a fun little joke, there actually is a precedent for this Spider-Man crossing over in the Spider-Verse comic series, because of course there is, because comics. In those comics, a multiversal threat to all spider people led to the recruitment of many spider people across dimensions to team up and fight that threat. In Spider-Verse Team Up issue number 2, Miles Morales and another Peter Parker actually visit the 1960s Spider-Man universe to recruit the memeable wall crawler. It definitely seems possible that Miguel O'Hara could know of a similar threat, which could explain why he started to recruit other spider folks. We definitely expect more from Miguel O'Hara in the Spider-Verse sequel, and we can't wait to hear more of Oscar Isaac's soothing voice. That's gonna be good. I'm gonna dance like Poe. That's gonna be good. What does he do? A little cha-cha? What does he do? Obviously, the most fun aspect of Into the Spider-Verse is the diverse cast of various spider people. From opening credits to post-credits tease, we see 9 different spider people. Chris Pine's Peter Parker, Jake Johnson's Peter B. Parker, my fave, Miles Morales, my second fave, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man War, Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099, and 1967's animated Spider-Man. It's probably fair to assume that we can expect to see most of, if not all, of these spider people in the Into the Spider-Verse sequel, and probably more. In interviews about the film, Phil Lord and Chris Miller mentioned that previous drafts featured more spider people. There was a point in the draft where spider people kept showing up and just being there. Sorry guys, I'm late. And then Australian Spider-Man showed up at one point and was immediately killed. While that sounds hilarious, I feel like that must not have been a very good day for that Spider-Man. I'm sorry, Australia. I'm very sorry. The Spider-Verse comics are filled with an insane number of different spider people, and we definitely expect to see an expanded roster next time around. Personally, we're really hoping to see Spider-Punk, Lady Spider, and Takuya Yamashiro, aka the Spider-Man from Japan's TV series in the 70s. Dude gets his powers via an alien bracelet from planet Spider, and he has a giant robot called Leopardon. What's not to love? And yes, he was in the Spider-Verse comic, and it was awesome. Plus, since Lily Tomlin's Aunt May is such a badass in Into the Spider-Verse, we would be mad if she never got to play Spider-Man. Yes, that's real. Let Lily Tomlin do it. I told her about Spider-Man. It was awesome. There was even one where she got bitten by the spider and she had powers and she was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man! Oh, that's so good. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's so good.
She's the best. Another aspect of the first Spider-Verse that hit the cutting room floor was the involvement of Miles' roommate and best friend, Genki Lee. While he is in the film, in the comics, and earlier drafts of the script, Genki was much more front and center. Phil Lord addressed this on Twitter. There was a lot of Genki in the movie about 18 months ago, but when they borrowed so much of Genki for Ned, we worried audiences would think we were ripping off Homecoming. So we simplified his story and left it for the next movie. For those of you familiar with Genki in the comics, he is incredibly similar to the character Ned from the MCU's Spider-Man Homecoming. Both are Spidey's best friend, both know his secret identity, and both seriously love Legos. At the end of Into the Spider-Verse, Miles introduces himself to Genki while in his Spidey suit, so we can definitely expect to see more of him in Spider-Verse 2. Speaking of characters cut from earlier drafts, according to Lord and Miller, the original script actually ended with a Doctor Strange introduction, presumably to help explain multiversal theory to all our favorite Spider folks. While we didn't get an exact reason behind Strange being cut from the story, it was likely because Sony doesn't actually own the rights to that character, who is still property of Marvel Studios. Well, we'd like to humbly offer Sony a suggestion if they can't secure the rights to other Marvel characters. How about Madam Web? First introduced in the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 210, Madam Web has previously been shown to possess vast knowledge of the multiverse and has made appearances in Spider-Man the Animated Series and the video game Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Bring her to the big screen, Sony! She's perfect for this franchise. It would be awesome. You know what else is cool? I like that they were trying to slip in Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange and Spider-Man share creators. Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created them both. Here's the difference. Here's Doctor Strange, here's Spider-Man. That's how Steve Ditko likes to draw hands. In addition to Sony's plan for the sequel, they're also apparently developing some other Spider-Verse projects. Another spin-off focusing on not only Gwen Stacy, but some of the other Spider-Women is also in development. Alongside Spider-Gwen, this story is set to feature Jessica Drew, aka Spider-Woman, and Cindy Moon, also known as Silk. These three Spider ladies have teamed up before in a 2016 comic event called Spider-Women. What we might expect from this project is an investigation for another time. We've got thoughts, but we wouldn't be surprised if Jessica Drew or Cindy Moon were somehow introduced in Into the Spider-Verse 2 to help set up for their own movie. You get it? Sony is also allegedly developing some Spider-Verse tie-in TV series, which we think is a great idea. While the most fun part of Into the Spider-Verse is seeing these drastically different Spider people interact, we can't help but want to see an entire adventure set in Spider-Man Noir's black and white universe, Penny Parker's vibrant anime world, or Peter Porker's Looney Tunes-esque cartooniverse. If these projects aren't already fast-tracked, we expect some more seeds for these types of projects to be planted in Spider-Verse 2. Overall, what we most expect out of Into the Spider-Verse 2 is another great adventure with exciting characters. This first film was so special and showed that there is so much that you can do with the worlds of Spider-Man. We can't wait to see how they expand these characters and continue to introduce more Spider people to love. Though hopefully they skip the Patton Parnell Spider-Man. That dude was a terrifying sociopath. Aren't familiar with what I just said? To the internet, do some research. It's messed up. Ugh. But what do you folks think? Are you excited about Into the Spider-Verse 2? And which Spider people do you most want to see in the sequel? Let us know below in the comments. And as always, do not forget to check out Rob Paulson's amazing series, Talkin' Tunes. Recently, Rob had Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Spider-Man in the Spider-Man hit video game, in the studio where he read some Always Sunny in Philadelphia scripts as Peter Parker. New episodes of Talkin' Tunes drop every Friday on ProjectAlpha.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Animation Investigation. If you like this Spider case, make sure to like, share, and comment below. That's going to close another case. We'll catch you in the next Animation Investigation.